Hi, welcome. So today I want to talk about the RAG Company's new Ultra Air line of products. So they have 4 of them. They have the Blaster Plus, they have the spray applicator, and they have the engine blaster. So they just released these. These are relatively new products. I've had them for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks now. And I wanted to do a video on them, but I actually needed more of these because I use the Euro High Flow Prevo tips. So I had to order a couple of those. But I unboxed them here. I want to talk about each of the products, what comes in the box, the general quality of them, what they look like, and all of that. And then we'll test them out and we'll see how they work. So first off, we have what they call the Blaster cleaning tool. So this is this unit here. It has the cone that's installed on it. It also has a second cone, which is a brush style cone. This is most similar to something called a Tornador, which you might have used before. There's another kind of knockoff tool called the Vortex. The Vortex and the Tornador are pretty similar. And we most commonly use these in detailing, or I do at least, for blowing out pads. So when you're polishing and you've got your pad and your pad has a bunch of stuff on it, and you want to clean it out, you use this to blow it out. And it creates this vortex of air by rotating this tube, and it just kind of swirls the air and lifts dust out. So obviously it's black in color. It came with an industrial fitting attached to it. I removed that and put on the Euro High Flow. It's got this hook on it, so you could hook it somewhere like on a rack or shelf or something along those lines. There's a cone installed. The cone unscrews. And the cone kind of looks like it's 3D printed almost. I don't see lines like the build lines, but just the way that it's kind of got, there's like gradation all the way around of it, there's like gradation all the way around it like that. And there's a step here, but it's threaded on the bottom. There's an O-ring on here to kind of keep it on tight. And this is what the actual unit looks like with no tube on it. And you could see that this tip is actually made of metal, which is kind of cool. The Vortex and the Tornador, their tips are like a hose, piece of hose that just kind of flops around. So this is probably going to be more consistent in terms of the spray pattern because those can kind of flop around, where this has like a natural bend to it, and that's going to create the same vortex. All of these tools require 90 psi 4 CFM, so we'll just kind of keep that in mind throughout the video. The other head for it is this brush head, and that just screws right on here as well. It's the same height, length, so it looks just like this, but with the brush on it. The second one we'll look at is what they call the Blaster Plus. So this is the Blaster Plus. It comes with this bottle attached to it that you can use to dispense cleaning liquid. So this is designed for interior surfaces, so like carpet cleaning spray or something along those lines that you're trying to kind of push into carpet and then extract out. But it comes with the bottle, comes with a cap for the bottle. So if you take the bottle off, you can obviously put a cap on it to store it. The cap, or the bottle itself, the dispenser has a weighted tube, which is nice, so it'll grab the liquid out of the bottom of the bottle. The unit also has there is an on-off lever here to determine whether or not you're actually dispensing the liquid that is in this bottle. So you could probably turn this off and basically it becomes this guy, or very similar to this guy. And then down here there is a fitting that allows you to add more or less air, so you could actually increase or decrease the velocity of the air coming out of it. So this is just like that, but with more control, dispensing container, and obviously an on-off here. On the end there is a cone. This cone again unthreads. It's got a larger thread than the other unit does. Thread is squeaky. And then underneath you can see that it does have the metal. It's interesting. So it does have the metal tip, and there is like a filament that kind of goes down in here that's at the end of this that you just saw me exposed. It's right there. That is what's actually drawing the liquid out as a Venturi effect. So we'll put this back on. There is a brush tip attachment for this guy as well. So if you were doing, something like carpet or seats or something softer, you could use the brush tip. The packaging for all of these is pretty simple. It's a black and white box. Inside there's, a piece of bubble wrap. The larger boxes have a cutout for the bottles. Very simple. Nothing arrived damaged. It's all good. So this is what they call the spray applicator. So they showed this doing like tire dressing. So this has this smaller bottle on it. It's an exterior applicator, so specifically tire dressing or some sort of trim dressing. So again, weighted tube. This has a smaller bottle on it with smaller threads. There is an adjustment screw here that it looks like would adjust the amount of fluid that comes out of the bottle. And this one has a lot more fine adjustment, where that's just a quarter turn. This actually has you can kind of tweak it in and out. There is this slide attachment as well, which I think is going to alter our spray pattern and how wide the mist is that comes out. Because if you look here at the tip, you'll see that there's actually the applicator tip right there where the fluid is going to come out of, and then the air is going to come out around that. So if you push this tip out, it should shrink the width of the fan. This does have you can tighten this down to kind of keep it firm, or you can loosen it up to allow it to move. And all of these pretty much have the same handle, black. It's nicely made. It's well built. Works out pretty well. So the next one is this guy. And these three are all very, very similar. Same handle, same nozzle, just different fittings and things attached to them. So this is what they call the engine blaster. So again, black handle, again, large bottle, again, weighted tube, again, cap for the bottle, again, on-off on the bottle, but no adjustable amount of air output. You're getting the maximum amount, whatever you're regulated to is what's coming out of this thing. This has this adjustable tube that likes to creak and crack a little bit, but it keeps its shape. So when it comes in the box like this, but it keeps its shape. And the whole point of this is you're supposed to be able to put a cleaner in here and use it to spray out your engine bay, but get kind of down in the cracks and crevices and do all of that. Obviously, with this quarter turn, we could limit the amount of flow out of this bottle a little bit, but we can't. We don't really have a fine adjustment on it like we do the others. This only has this one tip. That's it. And this guy also only has this one tip that's on it. So let's start off with our standard, we'll call this the Tornador. It's not a Tornador, but it's the Ultra Air Blaster cleaning tool. And you can see on the camera, it's fast, but it does rotate, and it does have that circular lifting pattern. It actually works really well, and the air feels good and consistent. I do have a vortex tool, and my compressor has trouble keeping up with it. This run a lot longer before I have to let my compressor kind of keep up. I have a smaller Harbor Freight compressor. It's just a 2 horsepower, but it actually does a really good job with a smaller amount of air. So this is the only tool that I kind of had in the past. I had the Vortex. All right, so here we have the spray applicator. This has tire dressing in it. I'm using Obsessed Garage tire dressing if it matters. So what I find is that if you have this all the way in, you don't really get anything out of it. So you have to bring this out a little bit. And then this adjuster is for the amount that comes out. So if you screw it out this way, you get more. And if you screw it in all the way, then you get nothing. So as you can see, it comes out pretty fast. It does a fairly good job of covering. Obviously it's adjustable. You can adjust the amount that's coming out. You can adjust the spray pattern. It's very loud. Normally when I do tire dressing, I use this brush. This is called a curve ball. You spray a little bit on the curve ball, you use this brush, and you work it in. And you just kind of go over the entire section, and it's fairly easy to do. It's consistent. It gets into all of the nooks and crannies. And then when I'm done, I take a rag and I just wipe the tire and wipe off all the excess. So, does it work well? I would say the answer is yes. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. It outputs the liquid onto the tire or onto whatever you're trying to spray it on. It does so in a consistent fashion. It's easily controllable, and the amount of output is very reasonable. I just don't know. I don't know that I'm going to use it very often, just to be honest. It's a little overkill. Now, if you were doing a lot of trim, if like the Mini, for example, actually has trim all the way around it, plastic around the wheels, down the sides, all of that. This could actually be kind of cool. As an applicator, you could just go and spray all the way down it. Honestly, it's borderline loud enough to be annoying. Like, you probably should have hearing protection or earbuds in or something along those lines to not make it so annoying for yourself. But it works well. It does what it's supposed to do. The build quality is good. So if you are looking for a device like this that can apply some sort of tire dressing or something through an aerial mist, this will do that for you. I like this little bottle from a control perspective, but it's going to be difficult to clean. So if you did want to apply more than one thing, more than tire dressing, then I would say you probably need 2 bottles. I did not dilute my tire dressing. It just pulled through without a problem. I used OG tire dressing, which is, I don't know, it's kind of in the middle. It's not a thick trim gel, but it's not liquid either. It's kind of like a thinner gel. All right, so here we have the Blaster Plus. There is a dial on here that says max to 0. It's kind of a quarter turn. So when it's here, that's max. That's 0. Max, 0. It's kind of like a ramp. As you spin it, it goes up and down and up and down. So turn this on, and liquid comes out. So let's take a look at this window. I'm going to spray, this is just water in here. You can see the mist that comes out and the amount of water that's there. So it does its job. If you turn it up to max, it's more like a hurricane. And there's obviously more water that comes out of it. So this, like I mentioned, is for cleaning like a floor mat or something along those lines, interior cleaning. For lifting stains, it does that swirling motion while applying a liquid through the spray. So you're getting deep penetration into the carpet fibers. So I think this guy works well, and I probably will use this for, fabric cleaner, or I'll probably use some Chemical Guys Nonsense. It's one of my favorite interior cleaners in it. I don't normally like Chemical Guys products, it's just one that's really good. But yeah, I mean, it works well. Again, I'm running this off of a smaller compressor, but it's not having trouble keeping up with it. I keep shutting down and cycling back on. And I like the adjustable amount of output. That's kind of cool. It does take a second to start spraying liquid. And then if I turn this down a little bit, I can adjust the amount of liquid that is coming out and the amount of mist that I'm getting from the unit. All right, so last but not least, this is the engine blaster. The engine blaster is a directional unit that has this long hose. The hose is 18 inches in length, and it is adjustable, so you can, kind of make it whatever you want. Here's a little snake. Again, I've got water in here, so we're just going to spray this through here so you can see the output. You see that it's a pretty direct spray, more of like a jet and less of like a mist, as you would expect from a tip that looks like this. This does not have an adjustable air volume output, but it does have adjustable flow with this quarter turn dial on the side of the water bottle. So you see I can adjust the amount of output. Because it's a quarter turn, it's a little more like an on-off switch than it is like a adjustable output, but it's still not bad. All right, so that's it. These are some really interesting tools. It's nice to see somebody innovating in the detailing space. Obviously, the Tornador always existed. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe there is something. Leave some comments below, things that you think that these might be useful for. I think they're neat tools. I think they're well built. I've always liked the Rag Company. I've supported the Rag Company. I think that they try to innovate where they can, but they are an aggregator of products from a lot of other manufacturers. I think one thing that could be done differently is there could be some sort of quick connect here, and you could actually turn these 4 tools into 2 tools. But for now, it is what it is. I don't think that they sell the bottles separately yet, but I would imagine that those will be something that they add to their site later on, and they give us a couple more options for if you want to spray different liquids and have more bottles that were filled. Obviously, these larger bottles are going to be pretty easy to empty and keep clean. The smaller one, though, for the tire dressing is not. So anyway, thank you for watching and have a great day.